Where are you blaming the brain? Whether it's your brain or using it as an excuse for someone else not living up to your expectations. We're going to talk about this today in regards to consciousness, conscious awareness, and overall just addressing your own shadow work that needs to be done. And this may be a hard pill for some of you. And if you turn this off, then that's okay. But for the people that are here for this conversation, I commend you, because there's two sides of the coin to this conversation, and I see it both. And it's becoming quite the trend to blame the brain. What do I mean by that? I mean by labeling people as neurodivergent or throwing around ADHD type terminology and all the sorts of things I've heard kind of in those buckets. What I'm finding most commonly is, again, it's blaming versus addressing perhaps what needs to be done for themselves to work through shadows, work through things from their childhood, even work through things from their job. Yes, their job. And I talked about PTSD, I believe, in video number 7. And I have so much to say about this as a full topic on how our jobs, our careers, businesses affect us, especially as we get older and we are over 50. Look around you. You can see it in people's faces. You can see it in inflammation in their faces. You can see it in hair loss, especially for women. You can see it in weight gain. And you can just see it in people's energy. And part of this is not taking radical responsibility for their own behaviors and the expectations that they're putting on others that are often a side effect from their job, their childhood, their life, or even how they are designed. But instead, people are going around labeling other people as neurodivergent or ADHD or any of these other things. So a few years ago, before this became such a big trend on the internet, I had a client, this really awesome woman. She's fantastic. And she would say on occasion that her brain was slow or she spoke funny. And honestly, I worked with her a lot and I never once had that come across my field as truth. It was not truth. It wasn't truth. Somewhere along the line in her job, people had said things to her that then created this story in her head. And these things were likely said to her because the other person wasn't dealing with what they needed to deal with. So again, they were blaming and making excuses and passing it on to her that like she had the problem. She didn't have the problem. There was no problem. But then she ended up creating this problem for herself. That was not truth. There was nothing there that was truth. So we had to do a lot of work for her to be able to trust herself and see that that wasn't about her. It was really the other person putting their reflection onto her. I'm sure you've heard this before, that we're all mirrors for each other. And I believe that to be true. So if you work on opening your consciousness, your conscious awareness, and really like getting open to how all of these things kind of piece together and not looking at each of these things as minute little problems or minute little challenges, but really like look at it and start to see how this fits together, you'll see that that other person at her job reflected onto her, which then created a story in her head. And that permeates through our culture. All these types of things like permeate through society. And they create these like false pretenses, is what's coming to me, that then create this whole big like thing. And then people because it's easier to jump in on the excuses and the blaming and the finger pointing. Oh, that's so great. What a great revelation. You really helped me. No, she didn't help anybody, right? There was no help there because the original person wasn't owning their truth. And that's hard. Yep, I'm going to be real honest. That's hard. The strong people, the really strong people can do that work. And for some people, it takes time and mentorship, and that's all okay too. But at least start to see the truth. Start to see the truth in how you're showing up. And are you blaming the brain to make up for something that's really the shadow work that you need to be doing? Let me tell you, it will completely change your energetic field, how you look, how you feel, your relationships, your marriage, how your children are, instead of trying to bucket them that they have a problem. They don't have a problem. No one has a problem. We're all perfectly created from God, from the universe, from the divine, however you want to speak to that. Doesn't matter. We are all perfect human beings, all of us. We are all perfect. So no one should be telling you that you have a problem with your brain. It's likely their challenge that they need to work on. They need to lower their expectations. They need to take a breath before they speak to you. They also need to realize and trust that everything works out. Everything works out. It's crazy how everything works out. It's actually mind-blowing sometimes. Everything works out. And generations are actually designed, again, from the universe, from God, from the divine, to be able to handle what is necessary for them to handle on their journey. So years ago, and I'll never forget this, and I've only heard it once, but it's such a great story, and this was quite a while ago, but I was listening to an Abraham Hicks video, and there was a parent, a mother, complaining that her children were spending too much time on the internet or on their phones or something like that. And Abraham Hicks was like, they're going to be fine. They'll be fine. Stop worrying about it. Stop judging. Stop spending your energy worrying about that. They are designed to handle what they need to handle for their lifetime, for their generation. But we often, especially as Gen Xers and over 50, think that because how we were raised is the way. It's not the way. It's literally not the way. I love my parents, but I could poke a gazillion holes in things that I have changed and shifted in my life based on examples that I don't want to live like. And there's nothing wrong with that. It does not mean I don't love my parents. It just means that I'm like, nope, I'm going to take this route. And that's the journey that we're all here to do. We're all here to do that. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to love every single thing about every single person in general, let alone your parents. It's just not necessary. But I take radical responsibility for my behavior and not blaming things that are things that I should be owning and doing a better job with in terms of my own consciousness, my own awareness, my own personal growth. Those things are my responsibility. I'm not going to blame someone else so I can feel better, which in reality isn't working for you. Isn't working for you. That's just not working because that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Again, that's what causes the inflammation, the hair loss, the weight gain, and even bigger diseases than that. Bigger problems than that. So there's a lot packed in to this episode, a lot of contemplation for the vast majority of people out there. I hope it really helps someone that maybe feels that they've been bucketed as such. And they're like, oh my gosh, this person's saying I have problems with my brain. What's wrong with me? No, nothing's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. I'll tell you this one other story too that happened several years ago. A very good friend of mine has a son who is truly amazing, and he has very severe Asperger's. I think I said that correctly. I apologize if I didn't. And so he needs care all the time. And it dawned on me, we were all meeting for lunch, and I did a video about dawned on me, that he has an amazing life. He has an amazing life. He doesn't have to work, really. I think he has a job now, but he doesn't have to work. He doesn't have life stresses. He goes to art class. He has friends. He goes to dances. He goes fishing with his dad. He's loved. He has an amazing life. We're the ones that are putting judgment on those people. And those people are meant to show us what life can be like for us if we were just going to have fun. So I hope this resonates. Please leave me a comment, subscribe, like, so you don't miss a video, and binge the other ones. There's a playlist. I probably should get better at putting the playlist in the notes, but if you wish to work with me, my website is melindavanfleet.com. I only do long-term coaching because of the work I do, and that is really to help you on your transformation journey. So thank you for watching. Bye for now.